There's a moment in every season, whether it's baseball or royal watching, when you stop looking at the scoreboard and start studying the player's stance. Not the result, not the headline, but the subtle choices, the posture, the rhythm, the intent. And lately, in the ever-unfolding theater of royal fashion, all eyes have quietly drifted toward one question that refuses to leave the pitch. Is Meghan Markle defining her own style or still playing in someone else's uniform? Because here's where it gets interesting. You watch Catherine, Princess of Wales, step out in a camel coat, and it feels like a signature swing. Clean, confident, unmistakably hers. Then, not long after, Meghan appears in something strikingly similar. And suddenly, the conversation isn't about the coat itself, but about the echo. It's like hearing the same melody played on a different instrument. Pleasant, yes, but you can't quite ignore where you heard it first. Now, before we get carried away, and believe me, the internet already has, it's worth saying this. Fashion overlaps. Trends repeat. Designers circulate ideas like a well-traveled rumor. But what keeps viewers pulling back, what keeps this debate simmering, is the frequency, the pattern. Camel coats, red dresses, structured blazers, monochrome moments, one look after another that seems to mirror a familiar royal aesthetic, and suddenly it feels less like coincidence and more like choreography. And this is where the story takes on that slightly uncomfortable tension, the kind that makes you lean in rather than look away. Because when Meghan Markle steps out in a bold red dress, there's an expectation, perhaps unfair but undeniably present, that she'll bring something distinctly her own. Instead, critics argue, the comparison arrives before she's finished walking. Catherine's version is described as timeless, composed, almost effortless. Meghan's, sometimes framed as trying a touch too hard to rewrite the same script with a different flourish. If you're finding yourself nodding along or even disagreeing entirely, go on, tap that like button and subscribe to the Crown Talk UK, because these are the conversations that don't end with one video. They evolve, just like the fashion itself. Now, let's pause and consider something deeper, because this isn't just about coats and dresses, is it? It's about identity. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has had years, decades really, to refine her visual language within the structure of royal life. There's a consistency there, a carefully curated calm. You know what you're getting, and that familiarity becomes part of the appeal. Meghan, on the other hand, arrived as a disruptor, an outsider, someone who, at least initially, seemed poised to rewrite the rules entirely. And yet, somewhere along the line, the expectation shifted. Instead of asking how she might change the aesthetic, the conversation became about how closely she aligns with it. And that, I think, is where the tension truly lives. Because when you see her in a plaid coat reminiscent of Catherine's go-to patterns, or a sharply tailored blazer that feels lifted from the same playbook, it raises a question that lingers longer than the outfit itself. Is this adaptation? Is it influence? Or is it the quiet pressure of stepping into a space where the visual identity has already been so firmly established? And then, just when you think the narrative is settling, another layer appears. Enter Angelina Jolie. Because apparently it's not just royal wardrobes under scrutiny. A white cape-like dress here, a sleek black silhouette there, and suddenly Meghan isn't just being compared within royal circles, but against global icons. It's almost as if every outfit becomes a test, not just of style, but of originality itself. There's a moment, and I say this with a slight knowing chuckle, where it all starts to feel a bit like fashion déjà vu. Not in a harsh way, but in that curious observational sense. You've seen the shape before, the tone before, the intention before. And while Meghan undeniably carries each look with presence, the question remains whether presence alone is enough to silence comparison. But here's where I'll offer a slightly different perspective, because it's only fair. Fashion, especially at that level, isn't created in isolation. It's collaborative, influenced by stylists, designers, expectations, and yes, public scrutiny. And when every appearance is analyzed frame by frame, even the smallest resemblance can feel amplified into a pattern. So perhaps the real issue isn't whether Meghan Markle is copying anyone. Perhaps it's that the audience has become so finely tuned to Catherine, Princess of Wales' aesthetic that any overlap feels like imitation, even when it may be simply shared taste or trend alignment. Still, perception, as we know, often matters more than intent. And that brings us to the heart of it all. In a world where every outfit is a headline, every comparison a debate, and every appearance a performance, carving out a truly distinct identity becomes more than a style choice. It becomes a narrative challenge. Because the truth is, people aren't just watching what Meghan wears, they're watching what it says. And maybe, just maybe, the moment everyone's waiting for isn't another comparison, another echo, another familiar silhouette. It's that one unmistakable look, the one where no one says, "This reminds me of someone else," the one where the conversation finally shifts from comparison to ownership. And when that moment comes, and it will, it won't need analysis. It'll speak for itself.